Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. I am Shenita Connolly, your host, and there's another wonderful conversation that you will be a part of this evening. I'm always excited about the guests that I have to join me on the show, and tonight is no different. We are going to be talking about things that matter to not only this guest, but to each and every one of us. Giving up is not an option on this journey called life. And I want to ask you if you would like and share this broadcast. We thank you each and every week for joining in, and we appreciate you liking and sharing the broadcast. I also like to remind you that the goal of Life with Shenita is to help people overcome life's challenges and to encourage them to live a vibrant life. Sometimes that is a challenge in itself to even make a decision to live a vibrant life. So we are so excited to have a conversation with an overcomer this evening. Again, like and share the broadcast. And thank you again for joining us this evening. And our conversation is titled, Giving Up is Not an Option. And so before we begin the conversation with our guest this evening, I want to just share a little bit about um, beating the odds. We've all dealt with challenges in life. And so the odds in life are things that seem impossible to be attained by one simply from the look by the eye. One may have many things that they want to pursue. I believe right from the village setting, children and the younger men are told that to make it in life, you have to be successful. This is especially after completing the ordinary levels of education. They are then told that they have to enroll in higher education. This may not be the reality to some due to many reasons. Um, and so it can shift our ability to be successful economically. It can be an embarrassment for some, but then we have to beat the odds. And I want us to think about a few things when we think about beating the odds. First, we have to accept the situation itself that we may be going through. We have to think outside of the box. We have to pray to our Almighty God or whomever you worship. We have to be hopeful and determined in life. We have to refrain from dream killers. We have to always remember that we have potential. We have to learn from successful people in life. In addition to those 7 points there, I wanted to share as well, we have to get a mentor. A lot of times we forget that mentors are out there, someone who can help guide us. We also have to have SMART goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, and they're time-bound goals. And last but certainly not least, we do not believe in failure. And we have to remember that failure is just a mindset that makes us avoid trying. And so when I think of beating the odds, I not only think about myself, but I think of our guest that's joining us this evening. There have been many of you out there who have beat the odds on this journey. And I hope that tonight's conversation will help encourage you to continue to not give up. I was talking with someone today about a young man, 25 years old, who committed suicide just 2 days ago, who had gotten depressed because of what's going on in the world, and who knows what else was heavy on his heart. And he wasn't able to push past the dark space and place that he was residing. And so I am hoping that our guest, Elizabeth Johnson, will be able to share some things about her journey that have helped her continue to move forward and with an optimistic view. So, without further delay, I am going to invite our guest in, Miss Elizabeth Johnson, and I hope you guys are ready for this conversation. Good evening.
Hi, Shenita. How are you doing tonight?
Wonderful. How are
Good.
you, Elizabeth?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being persistent about moving through life and beyond the challenges that you face.
Yes,
And so we're going to hopefully encourage someone tonight to keep moving, and that
absolutely.
giving up is never an option. So before we get started, I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the audience in whatever way that you like.
Well, my name's Elizabeth Johnson. I am a wife, a mother of a 22-year-old son, a published author now. Um, I love to bake. I love to take pictures. I love being around everyone. I love being around people. I love serving the community. And I'm an excited person to be around.
That's awesome. We have the baking in common,
Yes, we do.
and we have the taking pictures in common.
Yes, we have that in common.
I
Yes,
love it. I love it. So we'll have to have a bake off one day.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Yes, I think it would be just cute. So let's break some ice for the
Yeah.
audience. Um, so I have a question for you,
Okay.
and I'm sure you have an answer for me.
I do.
So if we finish this interview tonight and you stepped outside of your home and you
Okay.
found a lottery ticket that ended up winning you $10 million, what would you do with that money?
Wow. Well, the first thing I would do is thank God. I'll throw my hands up and thank God, but I'll make sure I hold on to the ticket at the same time. But I would thank God that I won the ticket. What I would do with it, the first thing I would do is give back to God, because if it wasn't for
Mhm.
Him, I wouldn't be able to have the ticket and be able to do. So I would, off the top, give my 10%. And then I would take care of my family. The first thing I would want to do is take my mom on vacation, and take care of her, and then take care of my family.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's you know I'm a giver too,
Yes.
and it's my birth month, and I've been giving since October 1st. Well, actually before, and so I would take care of my people
Yeah.
just like you. I would make
Okay.
sure that we first of all, in that order, because
Yes.
that's how I was raised, to give your 10%.
Give it ten
And
percent.
then I would certainly take care of my people
Yes.
and give back to the community. So we share so many values, similar values. So that's awesome. So
Yes.
I can see your heart.
Yes. Thank you.
So what's something people seem to misunderstand about Elizabeth? Is there something that people misunderstand about you?
Well, and misunderstanding about me is basically me not showing my showing that my all. Sometimes I'm a very, I was always a person to be out front and wanted to be out front and tell it all. Now I'm starting to learn that, some things don't need to be out front. Some things don't need to be said at all times. I'm learning that before I put it out, I send it to God and ask Him to. I pray about it first, and if it doesn't come out right, me and him are the only ones that know about it. So I'm learning to, keep to myself and pray about things now, not put everything on Front Street as it's being said.
And that's using wisdom.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. If there was something about you that you could change, what would that be?
If there was something about me that I can change, it would be uh, it would be how I deal with people on a daily basis. I would open up more to where I can give more to people. I'm a very giving person. I like to help people out, but that's something that I would do. I would open up and give more to people, give more to my community, and do more for the people in the community. Um, and that's something that I would do.
Awesome. And so the title this evening is Giving Up is Not an Option. And so, with that being said, I am sure that you have had some challenges. I'd
Yes.
like for you to share a little bit or as much as you like about those challenges that has propelled you to this place that you are right now. Because when we have those challenges, as I said earlier, sometimes we survive them and
Yeah.
sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
And so you have been able to, like myself and so many others out there, to push through and survive the odds against us. So share with us what that has been like for you.
Well, living my life, I never thought in a million years that I would lose my job twice. The first time I lost my job after 10 years of working, they shut the company down, and I went and got another job and was working just fine until the pandemic came, and just comfortable. And we were told not to come back anymore.
Like
They say that
went to work one day and was told don't come back.
don't come back anymore. Our stuff will be packed in boxes and come get the box and you're done.
Wow.
I was devastated. I went and I sat home and I said to myself, God, what are you trying to tell me? What is this? I knew that I still had to provide for my family. I knew that I was a go-getter, and I went into a depressional stage. And it was a force that, I just felt sorry for myself. And after I did that, I brushed myself off. I said, I'm not going to go into this stage anymore. I'm not going to do this. There has to be something better.
Mhm.
And some people say, they throw in the towel, but I threw the towel. I'm not going to say I didn't throw in the towel. I threw the towel. I threw it up, but I caught it and I
Mhm.
ran with it.
Mhm.
And that's why I say that giving up is not an option. It's not an option for me anymore because I pushed past and I was able to pick up and dust myself off. And I was able to pray to God and say, God, what are you trying to tell me? What do you want me to do? Is there more?
Mhm.
And I was able to go and do more than what I would have done on the job. I think that sometimes that if I didn't get off the job, would I be an author today? Would I be, a baking queen as I am today? Would I
Mhm.
been doing the things that I'm doing now?
Mhm.
And I don't think I would. I think I would have
Mhm.
been. I was too comfortable. And sometimes I feel that God does things, and we just have to trust Him. And that's where I was. I was in the trusting stage
Mhm.
of my life.
That's awesome. And I've experienced that laid off um, experience, and it's devastating. And so, and
Yes.
it can, take you back into a dark place that you don't want to come out of. And so, you really do have to accept reality,
Right.
dust your feet off, and
That's it.
figure out the game plan.
Absolutely.
And that looks as if you did that.
Absolutely. I did.
And so,
And I was able to overcome. And when I got out of that place, I was able to say, you can do anything,
mhm,
have faith, believe and receive. And I was able
mhm.
to receive some things that I didn't think that I would be able to receive. And that's where I'm at today.
And so your baking business,
Yes.
when did you start baking?
Oh, I didn't, to tell you the truth, I didn't even like to bake. When only thing I knew is that I went one day in the kitchen and I just baked some cupcakes and took a butter knife and spread some frosting on it. And I got an inbox from a young lady, and she told me, she said, "Have you ever thought about piping, your cupcakes?" I was like, "No." She said, "You might want to go on YouTube and learn how to pipe cupcakes." And I said, "Okay." So YouTube and Pinterest taught me how to bake, and
Love
I've
it.
been baking ever since.
I love it. I love it. And people don't understand that's such a gift,
Absolutely.
for you to not grow up. Unlike myself, I grew up baking, but
Yeah.
I'm not your decorator.
Oh,
My daughter has
okay.
taken that level, which I absolutely love to watch her do her thing.
Mhm.
But that's a gift
Oh,
when
yeah.
you can get in the kitchen and cook or bake and turn nothing into something.
Into something. Yes.
Yeah,
And I do
and
it.
and
I do it
beautiful,
very well. Yes. I do
right?
it very well. I pat my own self on the back because there's some things
Yes,
that just shock me that I'm able to do. And I
yeah.
love sharing and I love, doing creative things when it comes down to baking.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yes.
I absolutely have seen some of your work, so I know that you do great work. So you
Oh,
should
thank
pat
you.
yourself on your back. And
Yes. Thank you.
yeah, people need to understand that you can be your own cheerleader.
Oh, yes. I root for myself every single day
Me
and tell
too.
myself I can do that. I can do all
That's right.
things.
That's right.
Yes.
And sometimes that's how we're able to make it through
Yes.
because
Absolutely.
we are encouraging ourselves. There's a song out there say sometimes you have to encourage yourself
Right. And I was
to get
always waiting on people to encourage me, but it feels so good when you're able to encourage yourself and know that you can do it. If you know that you can do it, then that's all that matters.
You can do it. Yes,
Yes.
you can do it. And you're doing it.
Yes,
You're
I am.
beating the odds.
I'm beating the
You
odds.
know, get a job and you're on a job for 10 years. You're thinking you're probably going to be on there for 20 or
Yeah,
whenever you decide that you're going to leave, but they
absolutely.
dismiss you. And then you get another job and it goes away. And you still have to figure out now, although I'm married, I play a part in this team.
Absolutely.
And so I've got to level up
Level up.
and
Yes.
level up. And so that's a
Absolutely.
beautiful testimony um, of someone who's been knocked down a few times,
Knocked down.
but I ain't staying down.
I'm not staying down. I'm getting up. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So someone said, whoop, whoop, baking queen.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So I applaud you for that because
Thank you.
that's another stream of income.
Yes.
And so that's a beautiful way to do that. So let's go back to you said you would never thought that you would have been able to be maybe an author.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that journey.
Oh, that's a journey in itself, I tell
Hmm.
you. Um, well, I always, always, always wanted to write a book, always wanted to write a book. And I've always wanted to write a book of quotes for women to inspire them. And I told my brother, Alonzo, that I wanted to write a book. And when I told him, he was the vice president of a publishing company.
Hmm.
And I said, I want to write a book. And he said, okay, you can do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I said,
Hmm.
okay. And we hung up the phone and I called
Hmm.
him again and I said, I want to write a book. And he said, okay. He said, so what are you waiting on? And I said, he said, I'm the vice president of the company. I said, okay. And he said, well, let's do it. And I said, well, let's do it.
Hmm.
So he introduced me to my co-author now, Tyrell
Hmm.
Claire.
Hmm.
And when he introduced me, he didn't introduce me as his sister. He introduced me just as someone, just someone else. And he said, I'm introducing her and everything. And when I got to Tyrell and told him what I wanted to do, I submitted my work to him and told him what I wanted to do. He said,
Hmm.
no. I was like, no. I was crushed because I felt like I had this.
Something quality.
I thought I had quality, I know. And he was like, no. But one thing he did tell me was, he said, I have a book that I want you to help me with. And I said, okay. And I knew then when I read the synopsis of the book
Mhm.
that this book by him, his educational background in mind, that us coming together to write this book would make an impact on the community. And
Awesome.
that's exactly what it's done.
And so Tyrell actually happens to be my nephew, married to
Yes.
my niece, Marcia
Hmm.
Player. And so tell us a little bit more about Just Like My Dad.
Well, Just Like My Dad is an amazing book. It's a book not only for children, it's for parents as well. It's a book of teaching points, teaching moments that a child might be going through, whether they're going through divorce, whether they're going through separation, isolation. It's a book that can start a conversation with the parent and the child. There's a character in the book, Miriam, who's a left-handed child. She plays chess, and her dad is a over-the-road truck driver. And he goes away and he comes home. He plays chess with her. They have a wonderful time, but then he leaves and goes over the road, and she doesn't understand that. Mom's left there, to explain that. And children at that age, they don't understand. So we have to have these conversations. Whether it's divorce, we have to have these conversations. We have to bring them back to the basics, to have these conversations, sit down with the children. So these points that's in the book, just like my dad, we're trying to get it into the schools, trying to get it out into the community, for people to understand it takes a village to raise a
Yes,
child.
it
And
does.
if we're that village, it takes us. We have
Mhm.
to step out and do what we need to do in order to make an impact.
Yes, we do. I can't, you know, um, say it loud enough
Absolutely.
or often enough about the village.
Yeah.
Um, I started a nonprofit back in 2003, and it was called Youth Under Construction.
Wow.
And our theme for our Black Tie Galas every year was "It takes a village to build a child."
Mm.
And so for 4 consecutive years, we would host a Black Tie Gala in Stockbridge at the Merle Manders Conference Center, and the kids would be the actors, the models, the speakers, the whole thing. And then it moved into our summer camp every year. And it takes that village. And even through that experience, I remember some of the kids, of course, are adults today, and their parents will come to me and say, "Man, because of your program, my child is more outspoken.
Wow.
Well, my child is um, taking more initiative at home. My sons, James, Scales, and Kevin, his parents, they were in my first program, and their parents will say, the boys don't fuss anymore. When they come home from
Wow.
camp, they're too tired."
Mm. Wow.
So, I was a part of their life from young boys,
Hmm.
young men. And so it does take a village. They had both
Yes.
parents, but they needed extra help.
Absolutely.
So yes, it takes a village to
Yes.
build a child, and I'm sure, just like my dad will speak to those students in those schools and the administrators and the staff, as
Yes.
you guys continue to go out and promote and share your work.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's
is there
exactly what we're doing.
is there a part of the any part that you'd like to recite from the story, or anything in particular that you would love to share with this audience tonight? I
Well,
know
it's
we're going to tell them how to purchase it later, but is there anything else about that book that you'd like to share, or even the experience of writing or becoming a co-author of a book?
Well, the experience I have is even with my son, I had to be open. And even like in this book, you have to be open in order. The dad might not be in the child's life, but
Mhm.
you have to be open to let another male figure, whether it's a brother, uncle, or a family friend, a neighbor, or even someone that's in just like my dad, Coach Carl, a coach. They have sportsmanship, they have hard work initiatives in the book to where they are able to step in that place of a father. So you have to be open to allow a male to be in that child's life.
Mhm.
If that father is not there. So that's kind of the teaching points in the book. It's just like my dad. If the dad is not in the home, or is missing out of the home, allow that child to be around an uncle, a family friend that can make an impact in that child's life, and it'll make a difference in their life as well.
Absolutely. That I couldn't have said it any better. We have to be open. And I know,
Yes.
I personally feel like what we're dealing with today with our young
Oh,
people
yes.
is a result of many, many, and I'm going to say moms, and I'll probably make some people mad, who
Oh,
were not open to
yes.
allowing even the dad of
Wow.
their children be a part of their lives, and not bringing other men who
Men,
were
yes,
wholesome to be a part of their lives. And so it does take a village. We all are responsible. When we
responsible.
grew up, there were people in our village who truly took time and spent
Yes,
time with us, disciplined us, and we
yes,
were not afraid. They were not afraid of the consequences
yeah,
of what
absolutely.
might happen because we are disciplining a child who needs it. I'm
Yes,
one of those people, even today. I am an educator at heart. I'm no longer serving in a teaching capacity, but whenever I see children who need to be disciplined
hmm,
or talked to, I will pull them to the side and have a conversation with them. And
mm.
sometimes I'll go as far as, can I get your mom's number?
Okay,
And I'll, because I'm a parent educator as well. And
right.
so I will have the conversation with the parents and invite them to be a part of my parenting classes
Well,
because
that's taking
sometimes
the
we
extra
just
step.
need to be
Absolutely.
educated.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? And
yeah,
know that there's somebody who really does care.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's all it takes is someone that cares. And when a child knows that you care, it's a whole different world out there for
mhm,
them, and it just opens up something for them. So
yes,
that what you do, it's an extra step that you take.
yes. And I love the title of the book, Just Like My Dad. How did you guys come up with the title?
Well, just like my dad, Tyrell came up with the title, just like my dad. This book is centered around when him and his brother, with his mom and him and his brother had a coach that, that he's often told me the story about it, that coach that had an impact on him and his brother's life when they were younger. And with just like my dad, people always, you won't never hear, you're just like your mom. You hear you're just like your dad, and that is that's a impactful thing, but it's not a bad thing, in
Mhm,
a sense.
mhm,
So coming up with that title, it resonates to where it makes an impact, and we have to do something about when a child hears that it's not a bad thing. Some
mhm,
children want to be just like their dad, you
mhm,
know but how can I be just like my dad if you're the person that's always bashing dad down, or dad's not around. So
mhm,
are you the
mhm.
mom doing that?
And typically when we hear that, you're just like your dad.
Yeah, you're just like your dad.
It's not a positive.
It's not.
And again, even if the dad is not as responsible, he's still their dad, and
He's
that
still the
definitely
dad.
could have a negative impact if you
Yes.
hear that enough, particularly if the dad is not um, looked at in a way that he's um, effective
All
or
right.
positive. It could have a really negative impact on that child's life.
Absolutely.
So you're
Absolutely.
right. I could
Yes.
be just like my dad, even though he may not make $1 million, he may not be as educated. But there's got to be something about my dad that has a positive spin on
Positive.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited about where this book can take y'all,
Yes.
um, in this journey as an author. And if you were working, you would not be able to be all over the world like you've been, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I have been. So I wouldn't be all over the world. I've been in several places, North
Mhm,
Carolina, where we started our first book signing there. Then went to Alabama and did a book signing with the mayor there.
mhm,
And, I spoke to the mayor here in Palm Bay, Florida,
mhm,
and
mhm,
going other places. Have other trips planned to go out and reach out to other mayors to get this book not only in the schools, not only in the
mhm,
children's hands, but out in the community so that everybody knows about the book, Just Like My Dad. Also
mhm.
about our company, because Playtime Multimedia, we promote literacy. So,
Okay.
so it's something that we're trying to do to make this an overall impact in the community, in
Mhm.
the world, even international.
Right. And when you said literacy, it made me think about um, you guys did kind of a where you had the young people. Um, what was that event where you had the young people give some feedback about the book? What
Oh,
was
focus groups.
You had a focus group to
Hmm.
kind of bring them in, and you wanted them to
Yes.
read, and you wanted them to give you their feedback so that you know that what you have between those pages
Absolutely.
matter to
Yeah.
them, the readers, right?
It
I thought
matters.
that was amazing. I've been
Hmm.
a part of focus groups and seen kids in focus groups. So when Tyrell mentioned it to me, I thought, what a great idea.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was an awesome idea. We had Madison on
Mm-hmm.
one of the focus groups,
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing how they gave their feedback. Even reading the book and taking the time to read the book and answering the questions. So it's really amazing when you get feedback from your customers and
Your
the people who
audience.
read your
Mm-hmm.
audience who reads the
Mm-hmm.
book
Mm-hmm.
and give you feedback. It's very, very important.
Yes, yes. And what do you think is next in terms of your journey overall, not only with just like my dad, but inclusive of that, because I'm sure that's a part of the journey. But where do you see? I know we talked about being an international author, which I think we have to speak it, as
Yeah,
Nicole
absolutely.
said.
Okay.
Yes, speak it.
Speak it.
Yes.
Yes. International
So
author.
you have
Yes.
to you have to speak it and believe it in order for those
Yes.
things to manifest. I am a true
Yes.
believer of that. So what else do you see for Elizabeth um, down the road? Or tell us about, I know you have some great things that just happen in your personal life.
Oh,
So tell
yes.
us, a little bit more about some of the manifestations beyond the losing a job and all of that, because I think what you have been able to accomplish
Yes.
beyond the challenges will give people hope.
Yes. I also became an international model as well.
Awesome.
I'm also in Prestige Magazine and Imperial Magazine, which is an international magazine. So I just made September 2021 issue. It just
Awesome.
came out.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I'm also going to be in another magazine, which I just found out today. That's coming out soon. So I'm excited about all the different magazines that have been reaching out to me to be a part of and just share
Mhm,
my story.
mhm.
Besides that, me and my husband, we just purchased our first home. So I'm a homeowner, and thanks to Miss Nicole, who's on there, international author. She's calling me, and we just moved in our home, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the journey that I have with my baking, starting back up
Mhm,
with my baking business, and even my journey with Tyrell and my team at Playtime Multimedia
mhm,
with Just Like My Dad, getting
mhm.
the book out there and the different books that's to come. We're doing this, as I said, we're going international. I'm excited about Just Like My Dad even becoming in the Spanish version as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
that's going to take a whole be a whole different realm that we're going to be able to reach people in the Spanish world as well, international.
Mhm,
So I'm very
mhm.
excited about that as well.
That's awesome. And it's so ironic that you mentioned Spanish. My book is in Spanish.
Okay.
My first book is in Spanish,
Absolutely.
and I haven't finished publishing it, but it's been
Hmm.
in Spanish for probably more than a year now.
Okay.
And that's an audience that I want to speak to as well,
Hmm.
because they are going to be the majority, if not soon,
Yeah.
real soon.
Absolutely.
um, so that's definitely a market area.
Yes. And that's
So
the
we have to
market area
really.
that we're trying to reach. So
Mhm,
that's a big market area. Um, with me and Tyrell, we just, we spoke to some people and we're trying to get the
mhm,
ball rolling with that, getting the book
mhm,
in Spanish.
mhm.
And it's very exciting times for that.
Yes, that's awesome. So I have a few more questions that I like
Sure.
for you to answer
Yes.
for me. Um, what makes you feel inspired or to be your best self?
Wow. Well, I think that what inspires me to be my best self is there are times when I looked at other people and thought to myself why I don't have, and why do I have to wait for a certain amount of time? But I've always said that it doesn't matter when you get it. All that matters is that you get it, and I'm excited for the fact of waiting my time, and I want to inspire other people to know that don't give up. Giving up is not an option, but
Mhm,
just wait on the Lord, and He will direct your path. And
mhm,
I'm a firm believer of that. And I take that to heart to where, you know, God never comes too early and he never comes too late.
No, he doesn't. And I'm a
But he's
witness to
always on
that,
time.
always on time. And I'll add to that because it was 20 years in between my first marriage and my second husband coming into my life. 20 years.
Wow.
But I never, ever, ever lost hope to be married. And I knew that I was an amazing wife. I would be to someone.
Yeah.
And even though there were many um, not so great relationships in between those 20 years, but he blessed me with the best mate of my life to this date, 20 years later. And so
Okay.
we can, as you said, he is never too early, he's never too late. And I was always happy for
Wow.
others during that
Yep.
time. I was
Always.
never envious.
Never.
I still am not even today. And
Absolutely.
I think that when we have the right heart,
Right.
we certainly will be blessed with the desires. And so
Absolutely.
I'm always cheering and encouraging others. And I'm inspired by watching you and
Oh,
so many others continue to reach for your goals and
yes.
dreams and purpose.
Thank
So
you.
that inspires me
Yes.
to
Thank
see
you.
others go beyond the odds, push
Yeah.
beyond the odds, and keep
Absolutely.
going. So I have another question I'd like to ask you.
Yes.
If you could turn back the time and talk to your 18-year-old self,
Hmm.
what would you tell her?
You did it, girl. You're doing it and you did it. If I was 18, talk to my 18-year-old self, I think I would be a little further, but I think that God had me where he wanted me to be. And I'm able to learn. At 19, I became a mother and it slowed me down. And I'm thankful for that because I was able to raise a young man um, and teach him how, you know, the importance of life and
Mhm,
love in a home and raising him by myself. So I think that sometimes God, he put me in a place to slow me down and be able to enjoy, um, you know, my child and everything and everything in life.
mhm,
And I'm grateful for what he has me. I'm only 41 years old, so I'll be 42 in December. And I'm able to enjoy life and do what I love to do, and that's impact and empower other people.
mhm. You know, when you said it slowed you down, and sometimes I think there are reasons why we are slowed down. You may not know, but my son is serving some time in prison, and I oftentimes think about how much I miss him. But he said to me, "God put me in timeout,"
Wow.
and sometimes we are going down a road that's not desired, and He has
Mhm.
to shut us down.
Yeah.
And so, even going through that process was very devastating. And so when we think of beating the odds, when we think of pushing through, my only son, of course, I have three biological children, but my son was in the middle, and that was devastating. But
Wow.
like you, we continue to push and persevere, regardless to what life throws our way.
Yes.
We may visit that dark place, but we can't reside there forever.
And stay there. Got to
And
get
so
up.
we have to, right, we want to be an inspiration to others and
Absolutely.
share our story so that that will give them hope to keep pushing and keep going, regardless to where you started.
No matter where you
You don't,
start,
you don't have to
that is where you
finish
end
there.
up.
Exactly. And
Yes.
so um, I like that. I was a mom at 18,
Okay.
so I do understand.
Yes.
Mhm. So tell me about a time you tried something in a job and it didn't work, or in life in general and it didn't work.
I can tell you what I wanted to write a book, and I had everything that I needed. I knew what I did. I had the T-shirt. I had
Mhm.
everything. I had
Mhm.
everything going with the T-shirt and everything. And I went to church one day, and a lady spoke to me, and she said, "Stop, not right now." And it crushed me. I'm gonna tell you, it devastated me and crushed me because I thought I was in a place where everything was going, the right way. And she told me, "No, it's not. Not now. Wait." And I can tell you the journey that I'm in right now, everything just fell in place. It wasn't a force. Everything just fell in place, and I was able to walk into it. And it's the best thing that I've ever walked into. So sometimes, where we want to can push it forward and go, sometimes God will say, "Just wait," and it might be even something better that He's
Mhm.
trying to get to us if we just wait.
That's right. Just wait. His timing is the best timing, as we
Yes,
both
absolutely.
agree. Um, and so, with that being said, when you think about failures in life,
Mhm.
um, what has been one of your biggest failures that you have been able to um, recover from? One of your biggest failures along the journey, but you've been able to recover and push forward.
Well, as I stated, with losing my job, I thought I would always have a job. I thought I will always have a job. I'm a go getter. I'm one to, nobody's never gonna let me go or fire me.
Mm,
But that was the one thing that I had trust and believed in, is the one thing that the rug just got pulled up out of me, and it said, "What are you going to do now? What are you going to do about this?" And I had to overcome that by saying, faith over fear. I was in a stage where I had to believe that I had to overcome this. And I'm not going to tell you that it was hard. It was devastating. Some people, the people that I thought should call me every single day and say, "What's going on? How's it going?" The phone didn't ring. And I was like, I had to go over there and check and see if the phone was even working. Was it plugged in? Did it
mhm,
have some
mhm.
bars? What was going on?
I can
But
relate.
that was a time that God had me in a place of prayer and purpose, and I had to push past the pause in order to go to where He was taking me. And sometimes He had to isolate me, and I had to be in a place where I had to He wanted me to just trust Him, and
Yes,
that's where I was.
yes. And my son used the term holy timeout. And so that's where you were,
Yeah, in a holy timeout.
in a
Yeah.
place where only he could deal with you during
Yes.
that time. And look how beautiful his plan
Right.
worked versus our plan. I think
Right.
I heard you say, I thought I'd always have a job.
Always.
And so sometimes we're not supposed to be employees. We are employers.
Wow. I like that.
We're employers. And so you are probably not supposed to work for anyone
Mm,
but you.
but me. Okay.
Yes. And
I
so
accept.
that's where you are.
Yeah.
That's how you say I'm a misfit.
Right.
Being an employee is a misfit.
It's a misfit.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
And so that is awesome that
yes.
you have beat the odds
Yeah.
and you didn't give up.
I didn't.
As I said earlier, not only the young man who was 25 who committed suicide, but so many others who cannot move past
Wow.
the challenges that life brings.
Wow.
And they bring them. Life
Yes.
brings them. And so
We have to
we
be able
have
to
to be able to
recognize it.
we
Be
have
able to recognize it.
and
Yes.
accept it and move past it. Like
Mm,
that is the reality, but it
yes.
doesn't have to stop right there. And
Absolutely.
so your story is one to give hope to others so that they can be able to move past. Because somebody watching this may have been laid off.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've been laid off before, so I know what that looks like right
Yes.
after I purchased my home.
Mm, come
Purchased my
on.
home in 2000, 2000, purchased my home 2003, laid off.
Wow.
So just imagine, single
Mm,
mom, 3 children, and
what you
your
gonna do?
life shifted. You
Yeah.
purchase a home based on that income is extracted, but there is not one moment in time that I have gone without. And so I'm hoping that by us sharing
Yes.
the fact that we didn't give up, because we could
Didn't
have
give up. Yeah.
on the journey, we could have. We pushed past the odds against us. We turned
Mhm.
those lemons into lemonade,
Absolutely. Added some sugar.
added some sugar, and we piped some cupcakes.
We piped cupcakes.
We didn't
Yes.
just spread the icing, but we
We ain't
piped it,
spread it. We
made
piped
them
it. Yeah.
pretty.
Made them pretty. Absolutely. We did that.
So I'm in the kitchen learning to pipe. Madison is teaching me to pipe, and Raven is
Okay.
forcing me to pipe. So I'm learning to pipe.
Okay.
So tonight after the show, I'll be baking cupcakes.
Okay. Make sure you post them so I can see.
I know. So I just want to encourage you to continue this journey. And
Thank you.
and I want to ask you another question.
Hmm.
Tell me about a time that a client maybe wasn't happy with a cake or a product, and how did you resolve that? Because sometimes we're dealt situations and we don't know how to resolve them. So I could share mine, but I want you to share yours first. How did you?
Well,
So somebody wasn't happy with something. How
well,
did
I
you
can tell you
resolve it?
experience with the cake. A lady came to me and she said she wanted a cake, and I made the cake, and it didn't taste the way she thought it was going to taste. She didn't like the. It was a key lime cake. She didn't like the key lime, that it was really, it has like that more tangy taste to it. Um, but I didn't let her, I didn't get discouraged. The fact that she stated that she didn't like it, it wasn't something that she didn't want. I took the cake back, and when I took the cake back, I was like, I said to myself, I took all my time in baking this cake. I talked to myself, I took all this time baking this cake and everything, but then I had to stop and realize, how did that make her feel? So that next day, I was able to go in that kitchen and do another cake that she told me that she did like, which was a strawberry cake. And I was able to do that cake for her. And when I brought that cake to her and presented to her, she knew it wasn't just about that key lime, it was about that I cared.
That's it. That's it.
And when people know that you care, it goes a long way.
It does.
And right now, to this day, even November, she's on my list for me to bake 2 carrot cakes for her, and I'm a customer for life for her. But
That's
you
it.
have to. It's not about just the baking; it's about how you care about them as well.
That's it.
So by me taking that extra step and caring about how her well being was and how she
Mhm.
felt, now I
Mhm.
have a customer for life.
That's it. And that's exactly how I handle if someone's disappointed, regardless to how I felt about it. I fix it because I want that person to
Right.
walk away satisfied
Absolutely.
and knowing that I cared enough to rectify the situation. We're
Absolutely.
not going to go tit for tat
No, not that.
because my reputation is at stake. And if you go out there and share it with Susie and Susie shares it with Bob
Absolutely.
and it spirals out of control, then my reputation is at stake. So let me just clean this up right here
Right.
privately, fix it,
Absolutely. Fix
and
it.
then fix it. Yes.
Your name is
So
all you got.
my dad taught me and my brothers and my sisters that at a very young age. Your word is your bond, your name is what you have.
Yeah.
So with that being said, great answer.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Thank you.
let me ask you this.
Hmm.
If in 150 years sciences fail to save us, and all that is left is a book about your life, what would the title be, and what would the blurb tell us about Elizabeth Johnson? So I'm legacy building. I'm always thinking about my great great grands who I may not ever get to know. So when I think of my books and my journals that I'm working on right now and all the things that I'm doing, I always think of legacy. So in the event that you're no longer here and there's a book, what would the blurb be, and what would it tell us about Elizabeth Johnson?
Wow, I have many books I want to write that talks about me. But one thing that one book I've always said that I would be the title would be Faith Over Fear. the solid foundation,
I love it.
because the platform has to be solid, and in order for you to stand on and be able to build from there, you have to have a platform. And I can tell you, I'm thankful for Tyrell and my brother Alonzo for allowing me to be on the platform and able to build. I've learned a lot being a part of Playtime Multimedia. It's been amazing for the last 5 months of doing just like my dad. And I think the book title would be Faith Over Fear, the Solid Foundation.
I love that. And anyone that picked it up, they knew that you chose faith over fear every
Absolutely.
time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
I absolutely love it. And I think I have another one for you.
Okay.
um, let's see here. I think about Tyrell,
Mm-hmm.
and I think about Alonzo's story. Um, and I think about them because I think they met
Mm-hmm.
during a time in their life where life may not have been just the best
Right.
for them. Um, and so when I think of them, I think of um, men who have beat the odds,
Absolutely.
men who didn't give up, who aren't giving up, who decided, I'm going to take these lemons and make that lemonade, and it's going to be the best lemonade anyone has ever served. What would you say to anyone out there who is struggling to change or turn their life around, or um, think there's still a chance for them to make an impact or make a difference in life? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say to them, get around people that can uplift you. That's very important, because I had to get around people to uplift me and build me up in order to do what I'm doing. And I take it as far as our company is concerned, Playtime Multimedia. Every morning, every time we meet, we pray
Mhm,
before we even
mhm,
start our meeting.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
think that that's the foresight of, starting anything that we do. It's not about just us writing books or just getting books out there. It's about
mhm,
caring about one another and building,
mhm,
lifting each other up.
mhm,
And, everything else will fall into place. But we have to have that foundation of, caring about each other
mhm,
and being able to make an impact on not only our families' lives, but the community, the children, the
mhm,
parents, anyone that comes in our path. So we have to, it first starts with us, and then
mhm.
it spreads abroad. So
Yeah.
we first have to be able to work on the inside in order for it to come on the outside.
And I love that. The foundation, and you use that word foundation several times this evening. And
Absolutely.
so that foundation has to be solid.
Yes.
And so prayer, caring about each other, and sometimes caring about each other may require you to say something that someone may not like.
Hey, and you have to take it, and you
And you
have
have to
to
be able to take that
take it and make it.
and give it,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think sometimes we are reserved when
Wow.
we need to be a little more assertive in
Hmm.
that area. I
Absolutely.
don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Well, in life, you're going to hurt people's feelings. And
Absolutely.
sometimes the hurt feelings will bring about change.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's not like you're being dogmatic about it, but there's a way, a loving way that you can deliver. And so over the years, I had to learn that.
Yeah, love and kindness have I drawn thee. Yeah, so
Yes,
it takes love and kindness, and then
yes,
it doesn't matter how. If you have to, it's called tough love, and it's very important when you have to. Sometimes showing that, like you said, it, and in the end, it's an impact that's being made, and sometimes that person will come back to you and say, "I thank you for it being for
yes,
doing that." You know,
yes,
even
yes.
with my dad today. My dad is, he's gone on to be with the Lord, but
Mhm.
everything he did. I always say to my say, why did my dad do this? Why now I know why.
Now you understand.
I understand.
Yes, yes.
I understand.
Is there anything else? I have enjoyed the conversation that you would like to share with the audience about the the book, the publishing company, anything that you want to share, closing remarks, anything before we close out this evening? Is
Yes.
okay.
Well, the book, Just Like My Dad, and our publishing company is Playtime Multimedia Publishing Company. You can check out our website at www.playtymm.com. You can order the book, Just Like My Dad, which I am the author of, me and my co-author Tyrell Player. We have other books on there that's amazing. We have Beguiled by Alonzo Strange, and we also have A Stolen Innocence by my co-author Tyrell Player. So we have multiple books that's going to be coming out soon. And just check out our website. We not only do the books, we also do ghostwriting. We also help other people write books. So we have a whole thing that we do as far as the publishing company is concerned. So if I was to able to leave a thought with you, it would be what my title is: Giving Up is Not an Option. No matter what it is, stay in the race. And the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but them that endure to the end.
That's it. You're preaching a sermon today.
Thank you.
A lot of great nuggets, a lot of great wisdom. I just am so grateful to have this opportunity to share with you, and I hope that something you've shared will inspire someone to move past the odds against them.
Yes,
Giving up is
absolutely.
certainly not an
Not an
option.
option. Thank you
And
so
so,
much for having me. I appreciate it
yes,
so much.
yes. And thank you for not giving up.
Thank you. I
Yes.
won't.
And I will see you in just a few. I
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
share this last comment here. They were saying about the comment of, sharing with someone. Sometimes you have to um, share things that are tough.
Right.
And just to help whomever may be out there, I think when there are things that we should say or we know that we need to say, it's almost like tell yourself that it is to the benefit the other person.
Hmm.
And there's going to be a scar,
Oh, yeah.
but scars heal, right?
Hmm.
And so, what I have always told myself, if someone tells me something, it's going to heal and it
Oh, yeah.
hurts and you know, it's going to heal. So, allow it to sting and allow it to heal because it will. But you
Hmm.
have to be open. And so,
Hmm.
hopefully, as difficult
Absolutely.
as it may be, that we'll get the courage to do that. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate that comment from
Yes.
Michelle, which is my friend,
Oh,
um,
yes.
and we thank everyone for watching this evening. And
Yes.
thank you, and the best to you and Tyrell and Alonzo and all the other authors and all the other work and all the children that will be blessed by this journey.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'll
I
see you
appreciate it.
soon.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation with Elizabeth Johnson. Giving up is not an option, it's never an option. And so we hope that you were inspired by this conversation with this young lady who is beating the odds that have set against her. She is not giving up, she's pushing forward, and I'm grateful to know her. And again, you can purchase the book from www.platy.com. Oh, I'm sorry, platymm.com. So please check out those books with Elizabeth Johnson, Tyrell Player, Elonzo Strange. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you would tune in for next week. There will be a celebration of my pre-birthday, and so we hope that you will join us for that show. Remember that I love you, but God loves you most and he loves you best. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again. You guys have an amazing, amazing evening. Take care.